The 2025 MotoGP season has just begun, but the racing world has been rocked by unexpected news from Jorge Martin. The reigning 2024 MotoGP champion has confirmed that he will not be taking part in the season-opening Thailand Grand Prix. This decision will certainly come as a blow to both Martin himself and his new team, Aprilia Racing, who will have to face the early challenges without their mainstay rider. So what actually happened to Martin, and how will it affect the competition this season? Let's discuss it in detail. Martin had a pre-season that was far from ideal. After moving from Pramac Ducati to Aprilia Racing, many were looking forward to seeing how he would adapt to the new bike. However, those hopes were dashed when Martin had a serious accident during a test session in Malaysia. He suffered serious injuries to his right hand and left leg, which required surgery and intensive recovery. For a MotoGP rider, the loss of testing time is very detrimental. The pre-season is an important time to understand the bike's characteristics, find the best settings and build chemistry with a new team. Unfortunately, the injury meant that Martin had to miss most of this session, so he lost the opportunity to adapt optimally to the Aprilia bike. In addition, many analysts believe that this injury could have a long-term impact on Martin's performance throughout the 2025 season. Although MotoGP is a sport that demands a strong mentality, physical recovery remains an important factor. A rider must not only recover from the pain, but also regain the confidence to ride a bike at high speed. After several weeks of recovery from the injury he suffered, speculation continues about the possibility of Jorge Martin taking part in the GP of Thailand. Many parties are hoping that the rider will be able to return to the track soon, even though he is not yet fully recovered. Some observers even believe that Martin will try to force himself to continue racing, considering the importance of every point in the championship this season. However, after various medical considerations and consultations with his team, the official decision has been announced. Martin is not fit enough to race at the Chong circuit and will miss the first race of the season. This decision is certainly a blow for Martin and his team, especially as he was expected to be one of the title contenders. Martin's absence means that Aprilia Racing will have to find a quick solution in order not to lose competitiveness at the start of the season. As a preemptive measure, the team has appointed test rider Lorenzo Savadori to take Martin's place in Thailand. Savadori has MotoGP experience, but the expectations placed on him are certainly not the same as those placed on Martin, who is expected to be the team's spearhead in the hunt for maximum results this season. Martin's absence in Thailand also raises bigger questions about the continuation of his season. If his recovery takes longer than expected, it is possible that he will have to miss several other early series. This situation will certainly have a big impact on the team, who will have to adjust their strategy immediately, as well as on the fans who have been waiting for his action on the track. In addition, Martin's absence could also affect the dynamics of the competition at the top, opening up opportunities for rivals to steal the advantage from the start of the season. Now Martin's main focus is to speed up his recovery process so that he can return to the track in the best possible condition. Meanwhile, Aprilia Racing must ensure that it remains competitive without the presence of one of its main riders. All parties are hoping that Martin will be able to return soon and give his best for the rest of the season, even though he faces a big challenge after missing the first few races. Martin's absence from the first race of the season gives his rivals an advantage. Francesco Bagnaia, Ducati, Marc Marquez, Gresini Ducati, Enea Bastianini, Ducati, and Fabio Quartararo, Yamaha, now have the opportunity to steal important early season points. With Martin behind from the start, he will have to fight extra hard to catch up when he returns to the track. MotoGP is known for being a very competitive event, where every point counts. A bad start can have a big impact on your chances of winning, especially if your main rivals are able to perform consistently. Under normal circumstances, Martin would be a strong contender for the title, but his absence from the Thailand GP makes his task even more difficult. For Francesco Bagnaia, for example, this is a golden opportunity to make an immediate impact in the standings. After losing the title in 2024, Bagnaia will certainly want to avenge that defeat with positive results from the start of the season. The same can be said for Marc Marquez, who defended Gresini Ducati this year after leaving Honda. Marquez is clearly keen to prove that he can still compete at the highest level with a new team. Apart from the individual side, Martin's absence also affects the competition between the teams. Ducati, who have several top riders, can take advantage of this situation. Meanwhile, Aprilia, who were hoping for a strong start to the season, lost momentum when Martin was unable to compete in the first race. For Jorge Martin, The main focus now is to make a full recovery so that he can once again compete at the highest level of MotoGP. As one of the talented riders predicted to be a serious contender for the title, Martin has a big challenge ahead of him following the injury to his right hand. MotoGP is not only about speed, but also requires extraordinary physical endurance and precision in controlling the bike. With an injured right hand, he is facing a major obstacle, as the hand plays a crucial role in controlling the throttle and brakes. If his recovery is not perfect, Martin is at risk of experiencing a significant drop in performance, which could have a major impact on his journey this season. However, the challenges he faces are not limited to the physical aspect. Mental pressure is also a factor that cannot be ignored. As one of the riders predicted to challenge for the world title, Martin will be expected to perform competitively from the start of the season. High expectations from the team, the fans, and himself can be an additional burden during his recovery period. If his recovery process is slower than expected, he may have to face the bitter reality that his chances of winning or defending the title are diminishing. This could have an impact on his motivation and strategy for the rest of the season. On the other hand, Aprilia Racing must also make the right adjustments to deal with this situation. As a team that has great ambitions to compete with strong manufacturers such as Ducati and KTM, losing your main rider at the start of the season is certainly a heavy blow. Martin is an important part of Aprilia's winning strategy, and his absence from several races, or even a suboptimal performance upon his return, could affect the team's position in the championship. If Martin does not return to full fitness soon, Aprilia may have to find alternative solutions, either by relying on other riders or with a different technical strategy, in order to remain competitive in the Constructors' Championship. This situation could affect Martin's future with Aprilia. In MotoGP, performance and consistency determine a rider's position in the team. If his injury affects his performance, Aprilia may consider other options. The fierce competition makes a drop in performance risky for his contract and his future. Martin needs to step up and get back to his best to prove himself and secure his position. Successfully coming through this recovery period will be a big test for Martin, both physically and mentally, and in terms of his professionalism as a rider. If he is able to return to full strength, it is not impossible that he will be a major threat to his rivals on the track. On the other hand, if his recovery does not go as expected, he will have to face the reality that the competition in MotoGP waits for no one, and every rider must always be ready to fight for his position at the top. There is still a long way to go in the season, so Martin's chances are still alive. However, he will need to recover quickly and find his best form if he is to keep his hopes of defending his title alive in MotoGP 2025. All eyes will now be on Martin's recovery over the next few weeks. If he is able to return quickly and put in a strong performance, his absence from the Thailand GP can be seen as a small bump on the long road to the title. If, however, the injury continues to hamper him, Martin and Aprilia will have to prepare for a much more difficult season than expected. Let us know your thoughts in the comments section.